It's him! Quick, hide! SoapNet. Every day, a new twist.
Tonight, a band that burst on the scene in the fall of 2002. Created a sensation with their music and mystery. A lead singer who shunned the spotlight to the point of obsession, and then, almost as quickly, dropped out of sight.
Stephen was a raw, extraordinary talent. He was waiting to be shaped.
Stephen Clay is a genius, but he can be his own worst enemy.
Oh, Stephen's debut album took my breath away. It was like he'd stolen my soul. It's amazing.
This is a band that had only one CD released, no videos at all. They went to great lengths to keep their leader's identity a secret, flying in the face of music industry conventions. Were they just a group of hard-working musicians, or were they hiding a deeper, darker secret?
When Stephen invited me to join the band, I never cared about his personal preferences. So what if he wants to work all night and sleep all day? If his red wine isn't really red wine? I mean, what's it to me? All I knew is he was offering me the opportunity of a lifetime.
Stephen is one of the sexiest men I've ever met. I never understood why he hated the spotlight so much. At least not until the mystery started to reveal itself.
Tonight, an inside the music look at the mystique and the phenomenon known as the Stephen Clay experience.
Yeah! Oh, this rocks!
I could never get used to myself on TV. Admit it, Rockstar. This is way better than winning American Idol.
Hey, water down the hard stuff. We gotta make this thing last all night.
Jack, will you give him a rest? You're gonna miss the whole show.
Reese, that is why God made VCRs. Hey, come on, don't you think it's kind of funny that Joshua, he's the one throwing this bash, he's not even here to enjoy it?
You gotta check this out. I think you're gonna like it.
This might come as a surprise to you, but the last thing I want to do is sit around and watch you get your ego stroked.
Oh, it has nothing to do with my ego.
Oh, right. And Allison's safe and sound at home, right? I thought you were hatching some sort of plan to get her out of that hellhole.
You know what your problem is? You're a victim of linear thinking.
What the hell are you talking? Do you have any idea what he's talking about?
He always has a plan.
Just keep watching. This is about to become a real eye-opener.
I'm so glad you are in the mood to celebrate.
I'm actually very flattered. There's an entire television network going to focus on my genius this evening. And as if that wasn't thrill enough, well, I also have you. Given the choice between death and spending eternity with me, you've chosen me.
It's only because that's the worst possible punishment I can possibly think of. I'm responsible for the deaths of two of the greatest men I have ever known. And death would simply be too easy. There would be no justice in that for Rafe or Jamal.
Well, you don't have to worry your pretty little head about that much longer, because after I've turned you, you won't have a will of your own.
I thought you said you wanted a bride, not a slave.
Oh, yes, I did say that once, didn't I? Now, who did I say that to? Let me think. Ah, yes. The late, great Jamal. Give me your wrist.
No, I don't want the watch. It hurts.
Of course you want this. You remember the time when you said you'd make an effort for me? We can get back to that. Make an effort.
I don't want to.
Yes, you do. What time is it?
I don't know.
Think hard, Allison. Think very hard. What time is it? What time is it?
It's time.
Yes. It's time for us to become what we're supposed to be.
Everybody tried, you know. They tried to make it a special thing for Karen. And,
I know. I know. It just never seems to be enough, does it? I just feel so connected to Karen just because of Scott and Serena. And I don't know, she feels like she's part of my whole wacky, crazy extended family somehow.
well, she is.
I hope someone remembers to call Joe. If not, I'm gonna have to do that. And Jagger, I want them to know what a wonderful, special person she was and that maybe she didn't die in vain.
Die in vain. Come here. Everybody dies, you know that? She had a chance to give you life. She can be with your girls, she can be with me. There's a lot of people who love you.
Thanks. I know that. I know I'm supposed to be feeling really blessed right now. It's just I don't have any joy. I can't feel it. I just keep thinking that I have a lifetime with my daughters and Ron and Scott.
The best thing we can do is remember how much you loved it here. And maybe make it a better place.
If it's not too late.
From a couple of fans.
I have died and gone to heaven. What's up, dude? This is what you've been busting your hump for.
I know, Kaz, but it just doesn't taste quite as sweet as I thought.
Well, man, what more could you ask for? Fame? Sex? Rock and roll? Come on, Rick.
Karen's dead. Casey's gone. The rest of it means nothing.
Okay, everyone, we're back. We have some reverence, please.
Stephen Clay was a struggling musician when he met Joshua Temple, a man with his finger on the pulse of the contemporary music scene.
This guy sends me a tape out of the blue. No one had heard of him, but there he was. I don't use the word genius lightly, but that was Stephen.
Stephen Clay came out of nowhere, somewhat naive about the inner workings of the music business.
Stephen was reluctant to perform live. It wasn't shyness, it was actually arrogance. But I had a vision. He needed a band behind him. Well, I must say he wrote interesting music. He needed focus. He needed someone to take his creativity and put it into words.
So while Stephen himself became more reclusive, Joshua Temple went to work executing his vision, finding the musicians and collaborators to showcase Stephen's magic.
You get to know people pretty well, but Stephen was an enigma. After all the time we spent together, I still don't know much about the man beneath the image.
I knew I had the hook we needed. I mean, keeping the mystery, building the mystique was the key to the success of the Stephen Clay experience. I mean, not that the music wasn't compelling, but I mean, sheer talent is rarely enough, really. I mean, Bowie created Ziggy Stardust. Kiss, of course, they had their masks. But with Stephen, it was the charismatic lead singer you never saw. Now we just needed the finishing touches.
I was playing at this local club back home, and all of a sudden, these two blokes appeared. Poof, out of nowhere, there they were. Joshua already had this reputation on the London music scene, but Stephen, dark, mysterious. Some people called it hypnotic. Well, he managed to hypnotize me right out of that grungy club into the wildest ride of my entire life.
I remember our first rehearsal as a band. I felt it in my soul. It was like my life had changed forever. It was just, man, it was like you could feel the hair standing up on the back of your neck. Stephen was not of this world.
It was like perfect creative chemistry. I'm not sure how Stephen felt about me because you never know with that guy. But Joshua was all over me being part of that group. For me, it was a dream come true. The best musicians, the best music. We were shooting right for the stars. Top of the world. Arrogant jerk.
It's all coming down too easy. There's gonna be a shoe dropping here tonight. And it might be dropping right on Joshua's head.
I don't know precisely when the vampire rumors started, but they took on a life of their own. I mean, if that's what people choose to believe.
Well, if Stephen's a vampire, what does that make the rest of us?
You know, I didn't even know who Stephen was when we first met. I didn't. Well, he hadn't gone public yet, and, boy, but I was hooked from minute one. Yeah, Stephen has this way of making you believe anything that he says. And it's not that I'm gullible, it's just that he is simply that seductive. And I can confirm, for the record, that he does bite.
Well, Stephen's more than just an extraordinary musician. Let's just say he has some very unusual talents.
Well, I knew the first time I laid eyes on Stephen at the concert in Port Charles that he wasn't what he seemed.
It was the open-air concert in Port Charles where the world got its first look at the front man of the Stephen Clay Experience. It's one of those moments that people will talk about for years.
I'm Stephen Clay.
It's like Woodstock. You know, everyone who claims to have been there in person had actually been there. Well, the numbers are in the hundreds of thousands and counting.
Joshua was against it from the beginning.
They went completely against my vision.
And all we cared about was making music.
The whole thing got completely out of hand.
Everybody, you gotta listen to me. This man, he isn't who he says he is. And he's a vampire.
That was a terrible idea. And I was right. That night marked the beginning of the end for Stephen Clay.
The publicity generated by the Port Charles gig sent the band's mystique skyrocketing. The Stephen Clay Experience was positioned to write its own ticket. There were no limits.
It should have been the beginning of everything. But suddenly, the wheels seemed to just fly off.
He blew it. I mean, we had huge fights, but he'd stopped listening to me. He realized too late what a huge error in judgment he'd made. By then, he was making decisions based on some personal agenda. Not what was best for his mates, not to mention his fans.
Stephen is an incredibly passionate person and sometimes just has trouble separating the different levels of his life.
He started not showing up for rehearsals, so the music suffered. And it was incredibly frustrating because you knew the talent was still there, but he was lost. I mean, maybe it did have to do with his lifestyle. We'll never know.
You've got to wonder what makes a guy like that self-destruct.
He wouldn't even make himself available to be interviewed for this show. It's crazy. Actually, it's worse than crazy. It's tragic.
Mission accomplished.
A slap on the face to everyone who...
Now I can focus all my attention on you, my princess. I'm gonna make you my very own.
He's feeling a whole lot better, and I can't wait to see your beautiful face. Actually, Serena needs to be with her daddy tonight, okay? Because they're both feeling really sad, and they need just be together, okay? Hey, listen to me. You be good for Grandma Gail, and keep playing Old Maid, and I'll see you in just a little while, okay? All right, I love you, too. Yeah, ta.
I know. You don't have to tell me I'm warm. I know it.
Warm, you're burning up. I haven't seen you like this in a very long time. You need to feed, don't you?
It's okay. I got supply stuff right over here.
Wait. I don't know if I'm all better. I mean, you know, I'll have my powers back. Maybe I don't. But, I think maybe in the interest of science, we should put me to the test. What do you think?
What about Christina?
She'll be playing Old Maid with Grandma Gail for hours. I remember a time when you didn't need to feed at all. All you needed was me. And I want to have that back again. So, please.
So you up to it?
I think we should give it a try.
Yeah.
The Stephen Clay Experience was about to fall out of the limelight as quickly as they'd appeared. Is Stephen Clay responsible for his own failure? Or does the blame lie squarely on the shoulders of manager Joshua Temple? Stay tuned as Inside the Music continues its profile of the Stephen Clay experience, when Stephen Clay takes up his own defense and makes an astonishing announcement about his plans for the future.
There was only one man responsible for the disintegration of our band. Our manager was a liar, a cheat, and a thief. If you have to blame someone, blame Joshua Temple. Told you it was about to get interesting.
Oh, the dude's probably having a heart attack right about now.
This is not at all what Joshua expected.
Yeah.
Look over there.
Yeah, what?
Okay, what do you see?
There's a bunch of people who love us getting blasted.
Anything weird?
Just you, dude. Just you.
I'm not really comfortable giving interviews. I try to let the music speak for me. But I owe it to the people to set the record straight. The Stephen Clay experience was always my brainchild. Staying invisible was my idea. Revealing myself was my idea. And it was my decision to break up the group. Mostly because I refused to engage in a power struggle with Joshua Temple.
Rather than tear apart the band a piece at a time, Stephen made the difficult decision to end the highly successful but relatively short run of the Stephen Clay experience.
The hard part is I still have so much to say musically. I miss the work. I miss the band. So I decided to reunite the group, try to pick up where we left off.
Stephen Clay is determined to rise to the top again.
Now you are fantastic.
Nice move, Shakespeare.
Oh, it's not over.
SoapNet's primetime sizzles with...
My personal life did cross over into my music. But I'm an artist, not a businessman. The music is my life. Who I love, what I feel, it's what drives my passion. Things happen. The way you look at the world, the way you feel. And the audience will either go on that ride or they won't. I never meant to insult our fans or disrespect them. That's why it's so important to put the band back together.
Well, did you know?
Not a clue. It's great, though.
Well, you can definitely count me in.
Forget it.
I'll let the public decide if it's worth it.
I'm done.
I was never in it for the fame. What's the point if the people don't want to hear what you have to say? I learned through the music that I have the ability to reach people. That's everything to me. And I don't take it lightly.
Lying bastard.
Excuse me?
Not you. Where's Frank?
Oh, I haven't seen him. Look, is there anything I can do for you?
Something's gone wrong with this television program. Turn it off now.
Whatever you say, boss.
Ricky Garza, he has a lot of personal power. He can carry the experience as the front man. I have big plans for these kids. Big plans. They're gonna take over the world. You mark my words.
They've all betrayed me. I can't trust anyone. Not you. Not any of them.
You're looking for this.
There's so much more, Joshua.
The best is still to come. Just think, there's only a few million people watching. But it will never be successful. Not as long as Josh was trying to run things. I'll never work with someone like him again. Not in this lifetime.
As we were putting together the final cut of this Inside the Music, we received word that band manager Joshua Temple has been found dead. The cause of death is not known at this time.
Stay tuned for scenes from the next Port Charles. Desire.
On the next Port Charles.
We can get back what we lost.
You're absolutely right.
You know what would come in handy right about now? Slayer.
Oh my God. Your life has been a major shoot. Forces.
Go back to another time when SoapNet gives you another chance to experience another world. Jump into another world weekdays at 11 a.m., 5 p.m., or at midnight. SoapNet, pure soap 24/7, the new way to watch soaps.
To us and your husband's fortune.
SoapNet. Every day, a new twist.